Hi everyone, it's Adrian and Leah. As you can see, the background is different. I am in the process of moving out of my apartment, so this will be the last video here. I wanted to do a reading tonight. I felt that it was important. I am going through the days and the energies flowing through the zodiac signs, so the next sign up is Sagittarius. So welcome. Welcome if you're another sign, and welcome if you have Sagittarius in another part of your chart. This is also a part 2 video of the Archangel Michael reading. I will tell you some channeled messages in this video too, but this video will also have the tarot reading, but the whole video is the reading. So I felt that this was an important video because the grandfather figure came up multiple times today. And the word that I was getting earlier today is danger, danger. So I hope that this helps give you peace and gives you some helpful hints. So I wanted to title this video For Those Who Have Fallen and Detour. Those have to do with the messages. So the other day I was praying over the bear, and these are specific messages, so hopefully those who come to see these readings can get something from them too. And when I was praying over the bear, I saw like he was doing like this as if the light was too bright. And then, because my feet sometimes, like, I would see after the encounter would be like the tentacles kind of that I would see that would be sometimes around the bear, where it looked like energy or tentacles just like coiling, or almost like a snake. But when I started doing the prayers over the bear, those dissipated, and under my feet was pure light. And I was like, well, I had to say though, when you do these things, to remember that it's a humbling experience because uh again, I would put this disclaimer out there too because of the types of videos that I've made in the past, that there are more Christians that have been watching, so welcome. Um, so not to have pride or have those things get in the way of doing these types of workings, because that's what those types of beings want to see, and that was an original, the first sin that wasn't on earth. So another encounter today, because I felt that what could I do to help those who have fallen, and I wanted to see if what would I wanted to do another encounter with the bear. And so I went there, and this time the bear was angry and sent that the being that they reside together after me. So it was kind of like tackling me, and it was like, say you're in a building, and or like maybe you're looking outside of a from the and you see the building, and then you see the windows, and if like you're walking and there's multiple windows, like um a place of business. And it was kind of like that, only um eventually I felt that because we were tackling each other, that it was starting to like leave the bear's mind. And I was thinking, it, it's not going in my mind. I'm not having that thing there. And so I was like, I gotta make a detour. I'm not gonna go back in my mind if we go anywhere else. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna go to a green pasture, and I'm gonna lose this being in the high grass, and I'm gonna see a prairie dog hole. I'm gonna go down the hole, and it's gonna bring me to the water, like the Bermuda Triangle. And from that, it's gonna kind of suck me in and then spit me out and put me into like the shorelines of Norway. And don't worry, the bedrocks broke my fall, but I ended up somewhere else. I was like, well, I may not go back to my headspace for a while, which isn't unusual because a lot of times I'm not there. But I'm in this area now. I have traveled, so I have my cap and my backpack, but I don't think I'll use those here. I think I'm gonna get a backpack that a villager made, and since there's a lot of wool, I'll make myself a hat too. And you gotta get the good stuff, so maybe get some jewelry, go into the area, and since it'll again be a while, maybe I should get a job here too. Maybe be a merchant or a swine herder. Um, so that was a little more than what I was anticipating when I was being chased. I was looking back and I was like, shit, 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 shit. Because I saw, because it started running on its, like it looked like it was galloping, but it was almost like a hound, but then it was larger than a hound because it almost was like a human too. So for this one, I will start pulling out cards. And I was also getting this time, and I got it here and there too, like adult daycare, like people being taken care of. There may be more channeled messages throughout the video, but I will say remember that in these deepest moments, those um sometimes those heartfelt, or even when you're happy or you're feeling that sorrow, whatever prayer you have, whatever religion or spirituality you have, um, you need to have those. Um, they could be prayers, they could be rites, they could be um, spells if that's what you do, to say it to a point where no matter how busy it is around you, no matter how much chaos is around you, you can say those things and you say it with confidence and you say it with all your heart, and that'll be part of your power. And again, with being doing these workings and it being a humbling experience, I feel that it's helpful to know that the energy that comes through you too is the energy of the divine, like the divine source, the higher source, and whatever you consider that to be. I have the Slavic Legends Tarot. I'm bringing this one out. I've had it for a couple of years, and I feel like it's a good time to bring it out. It's the Spirit Animal Tarot. Sorry. This one, I think I'm going to change. Well, I'm going to put it in a bag. This is the Universal Folk Tarot. I'm so happy that they came out with a tarot deck, because I have the Oracle. I've said it in other tarot videos, like for tarot enthusiasts that like to the art of reading and looking into the different decks and their interpretations and the different ways that people see the cards. Again, interpretations. Temperance is at the bottom, so I'll keep this card at the bottom, or I'll put it into the reading. As I said, I will put this in a bag because I would want it to be more accessible when I put the box away. So I have this bag that I knit up, and I'll put it in here for now. And before I say this, this isn't like any sexual content with this, or context with this. Um, but I did see the vision. It was the bear, just as if maybe like about to go, the bear about to go to bed. And then he was just looking around. I think it has increased, as if like seeing if there's any hints or things that give the impression that something is finding things, or someone is finding things, or like sometimes looking outside the door and even being in a room with somebody, and before closing that room to look outside the door. I have the Celtic Spirit Oracle and the Earth Fairy Tarot. And also like horses like lining up. I'm gonna keep the bottom card, the Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Coins. Looks like it feels like it's like having your ducks in a row or having things in order. There's a preparation that has been put together or a plan that's being sought out. Horse like horses lining up. The eagle is standing out to me on this box. It looks like, because the word that I'm getting is like ritual. You don't need to actually be doing an actual ritual, but it just seems like that there's something like a plan that is like it got the approval or now it's coming forth as if this horse is lining up is the preparation. So you have the Ten of Branches and then the Guardian of Shells here. It feels like for the horses lining up, a lot of them don't want to do this, but there is an understanding that this has to be done. and something almost feels like it's in the limelight or there's like exposure. The exposed because the opposing energy is in front of you. The opposing energy sees you, or you're not hiding, and that's why there isn't an exposure. But what's good about the Guardian of Shells is that there's a shark here. So it does feel like there's a fighting energy where you're not going to be the one that's going to be hunted. There's a mentality and inner knowing that if you're not hunting them, they're going to be hunting you. There's an energy of like, I want to stay together. Because now you see the reality of the situation. Because this reading, I started pulling up the cards, and from two decks, the Devil came out. So this is the present card. Sorry. And then from my deck, the Devil card too. And this one, it has the Hagstone, and they say you could see past the things that the fairies or other beings will try to portray to you, and you'll see the things that are really there. So this is a matter of perception too, and not being fooled, which is actually really excellent too for this reading. Because there's the poppies in the field in this card. And it can be like an indulging energy. Um, Even like when you indulge in the uses of what the poppy gives you, it can blacken your fingers as if it's more harmful than it is helpful. Which may be the reason why this message keeps trying to come up, because of one image or one vision was with the bear, but the bear was with somebody else. The bear was with a person. So because in the future, it's the Four of Swords, and then another repeating card, because what does this devil have to do with this reading? And then I got the Four of Swords again, as if it keeps trying to come up. So with the Four of Swords, it could be a resting energy of laying to bed. So there could be some type of interaction that comes in there, um, that goes into this reading of the vision and associating it with the reading. I try to be mindful about the things that I bring up. So, since there was extra clarification that is important for that message to get out there, um, there you have it. There could have been an interaction. This is a different energy because with this Four of Wands, it's like an older couple that has grown together in some capacity. Then you have the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords, it looks like there was something that happened that kind of really tainted that energy. Um, some type of blockage. It could have been some type of mishap, either the external environment or between each other. But there's so much history or so much time where if you guys haven't known each other for a long time, there's always a way where these your souls meet and you become kindred spirits because the bond is just so special and there's something of understanding each other's souls. These two energies, it's important for them to keep interacting. It's interesting because a lot of times I usually keep to myself. I literally made like 5 meals today because I have so much in my freezer. I live with my cats. I just dropped my cats off to my godmother's, and I have all this food, and it's like I have the amount of food that feeds a family of five. So there's so- also part of it where I don't really talk to people unless I feel the calling to, because I feel like a lot of times they have something that will teach you something, or there's something of a reason of why they have crossed you. So sometimes again, I don't really talk to people. Um, but I get notifications and I'm on social media, and one is like a pen pal site, and I'm like, I still don't really talk to people. I feel kind of bad. Um, but there's this person, and she wanted to, practice like English because it's international. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Um, and we started talking about different things. I felt kind of bad because she's really into what is it, watching different series, and I I watch stuff. I mainly go back to the things that I have watched, like maybe in high school, or movies that really stuck with me, or specific types of movies. As you do like specific genres, or maybe um certain times, or like older movies, or what have you. So the ones that I mentioned, because I don't have much to mention about it, of course she watched already. But it was something that was great that I learned was the different tools that you use when you draw. So that was one of the conversations and what she was showing me and what I was learning, because I do like all the artsy things, and I enjoy painting and drawing in both. So these energies, there's a reason that they came together, and it could be multiple reasons, but the bond is really special. Now, with the Four of Swords with the bear, it kind of feels like it's like a person that retired, because this person is in a mode or is in a state where they're going to have other people do the work, and then um, the Four of Swords in this reading kind of like sits back and relaxes. And there could have been things of, to an extent of, seeing what I wasn't supposed to see, or knowing what I wasn't supposed to see or hear, with the World card to go with the Four of Swords. The obstacle is the Wheel of Fortune. There's just such a push, because I feel this isn't specifically trying to read for the bear, but there's like a sense of like a push with the Wheel of Fortune and the bear, of like pushing the energy away to where it becomes more to themselves or private or ghostly. And it's interesting where I met the grandfather figure, because the grandfather figure was there when I picked up my spinning wheel. And when I picked up my spinning wheel, um, one of the guild members who gave me the wheel said that to go meet at this church parking lot. And I was like, okay. And the saint that was associated with the church is the patron saint of Ukraine, Russia, Romania, and Scotland. So I thought that was, um, I thought that was interesting. And I get there, and this grandfather figure um, sees me, and I was like, hmm, that seems familiar. And I don't take hitchhikers home, but um, the grandfather energy was determined to say something. So I was like, okay. And it's like with the struggle with the Wheel of Fortune, with the Knight of Cups is that, so the Knight of Cups has been away, and the Knight of Cups is trying to come back. And then it's like, since I was talking about the wheel and the grandfather energy that came up multiple times today, more than usual. And then again, I don't keep the energies near me or like, I guess, like constantly with me. So then I have the Page of Wands to go with the Knight of Cups and then the Queen of Swords. So I feel like the Queen of Swords is associated with the Page, I'm sorry, the Page of Wands. Because the Page of Wands, like I'm getting that the energy from the Queen of Swords is all over the place. Like you need to confine it, not confine it in, you need to hold yourself back, but there is one where like being persistent and being diligent and a continuous, steady energy in order to finish what you started. Like you see the books in the reading or in the card for the reading. It's like needing to finish the book, needing to finish what you started. How to overcome the obstacles, the Two of Wands. This energy feels on call for the Two of Wands. It's like on call, like if you're working, and it's like a maybe for healthcare or something that is urgent, like it needs your attention. And sometimes it can be cumbersome. Not like you don't want to help them, but it's like uh, needing to be steady enough, needing to be persistent and diligent to be able to accomplish all these things because of how dire it is, because of the danger. And in the beginning of the reading, I was getting like they're waiting for you, as if you were like about to tell somebody something and they were patiently waiting or um, really eager to hear the messages. This Two of Wands, it feels like there's an urgency as if like things are kind of like, um, what is it? I don't like, I mean, it could be speed dial back in the day. Uh, it's like moving to get to point A to point B as quick as you can because of this urgency to do it. Because you have what you need here for the Six of Wands, you have to run with it. And it does feel like a little bit of an element of surprise with the Two of Swords. Because the Two of Swords, again, with the chessboard, and I have said this before, now you're playing your opponent's chess pieces, so you're flipping the board around. It feels like there's a constant, like, flipping the board around. So it's like thinking on your feet for that and needing to see the next moves before they make them. And maybe if you have an all-seeing eye, it can be helpful too. It does feel like there's an energy of there's a lot going on, so you're not necessarily forgetting things, but needing to constantly remind yourself or write things down or do something to help you remember those things. That feels like it's coming into play. It it may be something like a record keeping thing, like with finances. She knows what he spends his money on. So that was part of what the Four of Swords was towards the beginning of the reading with the private encounter. Because with the King of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. And the Ten of Cups. And it's a reason for their absence too with this interaction. Because the bear likes his privacy. For the past, it's interesting because with the Knight of Swords and the energies that are popping up, it's like because the Knight of Swords is sometimes like associated with the shark energy too, but the shark energy is actually associated with the opposite energy. And since I have referred to them as rabbits, that's who they are, the sharks in this reading. And the Knight of Swords is in the past, and that's like a persistent energy of like this one is like really going for the kill in a way in the past. It's almost like a getaway. It's in a way like a clean slate of maybe I could just act like I didn't try to destroy the world and still continue to do it. It's trying to get away from the karma. And the thing is with karma, if you believe in it, is that karma never forgets and you do get your compensation for it. It may not be specifically what you're thinking about, but there is always compensation for it. To every action, there's a reaction. And that's what the bear tries to get away from. It tries to get away from being condemned. And that's what this is. And I did get another vision actually this today because, as I said, I was going to share another one. That, again, with Silent Hill, and I have mentioned this character, this one character. She was the school teacher, and she had these students. It was back in the day. So the student had a mother, as you do, and this mother would not tell anybody who the father of the child was. So the child was seen as illegitimate. And that was not okay with the teacher. So the teacher took the matters into her own hands. And they tried to do some type of ritual or what have you, whatever you would call it. And there was an accident, a huge accident where it almost buried the child. So then fast forward, all hell breaks loose because the child just feels so much hatred. It unleashes something so dark into this world. Almost like opening Pandora's box, if you will. And so you have those things in the world now. And it's like they tried to form this community, and this community is so persistent in feeling like this is the way, the truth and light. And the fact of the matter is, the only reason why you're still alive is because you you stay in a sacred site, you stay in this church when the clock strikes 12 or whenever the darkness is unleashed, like when it's not daytime. So even when being called out on it, it's like I have to stick to this, because if I don't stick to this, that's when my damnation will start. And that's what I feel, this energy of the bears. It's like a conflicted energy. It's like um I either stay being this type of person, or if I try to want to have this life, it it's going to be where I have to avoid those consequences. And it's like the constant running of consequences. And at this point, it does feel like there is a, it feels like there's a freak out moment where the bear thinks, I think this is where I can't run from these consequences anymore. On the other side, for the rabbits, or for the sharks in this video, there's some energies of finally feeling clean, as if you weren't able to cleanse yourself. You weren't able to take the showers that you wanted. It does feel like needing to want to take a shower, needing to give yourself that like self-care or hygiene in some way that you weren't able to give yourself, or constantly being out in the world, in the environment, exposed to all these things, and not being able to come home and take a shower. That this feels like you finally were able to take that shower. because it feels good and it feels really clean. I didn't get that for the last couple of readings before. It was only recently where I felt that it feels clean now. And that's what it feels like with the Sun card, too. It also feels like the energy of when the bear was exposed and then the brightness of the sun or the light that was shining through. And again, if you believe in it, I do believe that there's a balance and um, we're not seeing necessarily light and dark in that way as so black and white. There's always looking into the what things really are. As I said in the Bible, a lot of times it says, "Do not be afraid." So really see the things that you're trying to see, look past what might scare you and see them for what they really are. Because what really freaks you out might be actually the most helpful to you. With the King of Swords, it feels like there's like a book of knowledge. And it's interesting when being a traveler and you go to these places and you see different things and you learn different things. And it's not necessarily a set timeline. And it always feels like there's always something to learn. For the past couple of days, like, people have been losing their phones left and right. So there might be a point of like trying to communicate, trying to portray something in ways of like explaining things or thinking about how you're explaining things or how you can even explain things if you lost your cell phone or lost that form of communication. I had the owner of the pharmacy forget her phone at home. She doesn't usually do that. In fact, it's usually the opposite way around where she um, leaves it at work. And then two people lost their phone today um, because I went to get some fiber products and there was like an announcement saying that we found your phone, or like somebody was asking like if you can help me find my phone to people. So the King of Swords can be trying to find ways to communicate or trying to find his words. Can be linking to the King of Cups too in this reading. Can be like something heartfelt. Maybe even a heartfelt apology. You have the Seven of Coins. It's like kind of rehearsing this, trying to get it right. So the card is Rodowed, Wisdom, Power, Transformation, and it has an owl. It just feels like things are being brought to the light. Things are being seen now. And with temperance in the beginning, it really does feel like divine timing. I'm going to pull out a couple more cards. And even here, the devil's at the bottom of the deck. I wouldn't be afraid of it. And it's interesting with this card too, because it kind of feels like with this, it's a little different from the other devil cards that represent other energies, but this one feels like it's saying, I have this type of reputation. Let's see if I can live up to this. As if somebody might be seen as um, a person that's up to no good and can be a troublemaker. Well, maybe I am up to no good, and maybe I am a troublemaker. So, but just because you're those things doesn't mean it's necessarily something that the world doesn't need. It doesn't need to be like the physical or like the actual devil that's in there. But there's like a reason of why it's like raising all this chaos. What is it supposed to show you with the wisdom from the owl card? The Four of Pentacles, it feels like it goes with the Wheel of Fortune. This one, I'm getting wealth is knowledge. And then the two cards that I'm going to show, the Five of Swords and the Tower card. You see that there's a rabbit here, and then the Tower card here. It almost looks like somebody's waiting for something to fall. It's an interesting mentality. Because it with the Five of Swords, it's giving the energy of like do this for those who have fallen. Like avenge those who have fallen. And then the final card is the High Priestess. And this one keeps speaking what you know, and from that's when there are other chess pieces to play. That's when you know the next couple of moves. So you'll be prepared when you had to turn the board around. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.